Welcome back to another episode of the Girl Stop Playing podcast. It's your favorite homegirl, Coriel, here to encourage you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. Y'all already know that I believe you can make the money and you can get the honey. You can have it all as long as you are willing to work. And today is a special show. You guys are in for a treat because it's always a blessing anytime we get a husband and wife dynamic duo in the studio. So before I introduce today's amazing guest, I gotta remind y'all that this week's episode is brought to you by Pull Yo Card. I need like some effects that's like Pull Yo Card, but in the meantime I'll do it for myself. Pull Yo Card is a fun-filled party game that adds a little razzle dazzle to your next game night, girls night, vacation, family reunion, however you like to get down. Grab your deck of Pull Yo cards at pullyourcard.com. Check out the show notes in the description to grab the link. And at the end of the show, we're going to get into this game, okay? We're going to play a quick round so you can see just how fun it is. But without further ado, I have the pleasure of introducing you to today's guests, who happen to be a happily married. Y'all are like newlyweds still, right? Mm-hmm. Is that newlywed? Okay, so they're still honeymooning, okay? But this is Darlene and Alonso Jackson. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Corio. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
I'm excited. So I really am excited anytime I get to talk to a couple because I know, Black love exists. I know, that there are so many strong couples, but it's not often that the world gets to see them and we get to display Black love and positivity from our community. So I'm excited to have y'all here. So you all are both artists. I do want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourselves because I like to put respect on people's name, and y'all got some long resumes. So I'm going to have you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
You want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
Which camera y'all want me to look at? That one right there. I'm Alonso Jackson. One of my jobs is I am a technologist full-time, which is I work with paper chemicals. I work with a whole bunch of scientists. But my side job or my after-hours job is acting, modeling, writing, do a whole bunch of other different things, trying to awaken the consciousness of our people.
Love it. See, I wasn't even going to say it like that. That's why I got to let y'all do y'all thing. Yes.
Well, I am Darlene Jackson. Everybody knows me as Darlene McCoy up until this year. Yeah. But nationally syndicated radio host, first Black woman with a national nighttime syndication. Also a national recording artist. And I recently inducted into the National Black Radio Hall of Fame.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And, just out here doing my thing.
I also
own an entertainment company called Araxi Entertainment.
Okay.
Where I have myself and my son as two artists. My son is a hip hop artist, and of course I'm an urban inspirational artist. So.
What is urban inspiration?
So
is that like gospel with the little gangsta?
It's that, and you kind of put it together. Mm-hmm. It's too inspirational to be R&B.
Got you.
But too R&B to be gospel.
Got you.
This got the sound, but it's got the vibe. Just good vibe music.
Okay, feel good music.
Yes.
Feel good gangsta music. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Right. No cussing.
No cussing.
Not now.
Not yet.
Maybe one day.
Maybe later. Okay. So I'm super excited to have two artists in the building. All the time we talk to, just like your run-of-the-mill entrepreneurs who are doing, business, I guess the traditional way. But two artists, I think that adds an extra layer to any type of relationship, definitely a marriage. So I do want to get into that, but first I want to talk about business stuff. I like to say we do business first and then we get in your business next. So because you've been in the media space, in radio for so long, what would you say has changed the most over your career, that you've seen?
Well, I will say the gospel music industry has changed a lot since I've been a part of it, and it was just kind of different because when I was offered, the position, I was really afraid to do gospel music because, you know, as an urban inspirational artist, my music was being played on urban AC and R&B stations. And when they asked me to become a part of the gospel world, I was like, but y'all already don't like me. Why would you want me on your radio show?
It's pressure, a little bit of pressure, right?
So, but what I love is that there has been a very positive change.
Okay.
Expanding the sound of gospel to where it reaches more than just church folk, more than just people that just, you know, need something from God. This is really, it really feels good. It, you know, because I have a big personality. And I like to talk about life. I like to talk about a lot of different things. So I really feel like just being there, I think that people just kind of adapted to a personality that brings something different. You know what I mean? So, and it's really been a fun journey.
Yeah.
So far.
Are the gospel people judgy?
Yes, it's a lot of them that are. But you got to be the type person that cares what somebody else got to say. You know, and
that seems like pressure though. Like I feel like and it should not be this way, but I feel like religious spaces sometimes put you in such a tight box of what I expect of you, what you can do, what I don't want to hear from you, what you should be wearing, what you should be saying.
That part.
So it's, you know, it's like,
and that's why I had a hard time.
Lord, you know, but we here to love the Lord and heal the people, but you want to box me in and tell me what I can and can't do. So I imagine that, you know, it's not always easy, but you got not a strong personality, but you're a strong person. So you're not, you know, you don't.
Well, I've known God before they know me.
Hello.
Do you see what I'm saying? And I've known God a long time.
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
have a real relationship. And those people that are just learning who I am and getting to meet me, I just let them have your time.
Let them
but
figure
I
it
know
out.
them.
Yes.
So
I love that. Okay, so Alfonso, talk to me about being you didn't say scientist. Did you say scientist or you said technologist?
Yeah, technologist.
We ain't never had no technologists in the studio, so break that down for us. Tell me what that means.
Well, yeah, I work with a lot of scientists too, but basically we just accumulate data, I'm testing resources. We work with paper chemicals, polymers, a whole bunch of different things in the industry, oil and gas. So my main position is to help out the scientists. So
Gotcha.
The scientists, they'll have a project, and whatever the mill needs, they'll ask them what the answers are. We go through our testing, and then we hand them the data, and that's the results that they need in order to use the chemicals to help their paper or their polymers or whatever they need.
See, when I was doing my research, because y'all know I got to do my research, I was doing a little digging, and I knew that you were a scientist. I was thinking more so along the lines of like studying the people, you know, because I feel like woke is like, that's such an overused term these days, but very spiritual, right? I told you I was doing a little dig and I was checking out your Instagram.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
So that's where I was going. Like, you're studying people, you're studying culture, you're studying, you know, not necessarily like numerology and things like that, but knowing what's going on. Do you dibble and dabble, or is that just an assumption?
That's absolutely. I mean, my job is just my job.
Gotcha.
What I do, that's my life journey right there.
Gotcha.
So trying to understand ourselves, our people, understand the multitude of people. There's a diversity out here that's happening. And one of the issues that separate us is that we don't try to understand one another.
Facts.
So what I'm trying to do is, because when you really break everything down, we look at the colors, and we're fascinated by the colors, but that's the term hue, right? Hue man. So there's beauty and diversity. But when you strip away the colors, we can all resonate on the same level if we're willing to see each other on that same level.
So were y'all on the same page in terms of like spirituality versus religion or whatever and I don't think everybody, again, has to put themselves in a box or label themselves as this or as that, but whatever you feel like you are, were y'all on the same page with that, or was it like a conversation and we have to, like a mutual understanding or growing together type of thing?
You kind of answered it in a sense, because, you know, he had this preconceived notion that I wouldn't accept him for who he is,
because it's that judgy thing,
right? Well, of course. I mean, I'm in gospel, and that was the connotation I was actually afraid of, and getting into radio. But as I said, I've known God for longer than I've even been on radio. So, but at one point, you know, when he told me, I don't believe in God, you know, I was like, oh, this
Oh, so it's about to get real juicy. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for throwing me that little alley-oop. Okay.
What you talking about? But basically what it was, I think that, you know, he was on a journey. I am on a journey. But then us coming together, we got an opportunity to understand each other better. So there is a label called atheist that people use for people that don't believe in God, because that's the go-to.
Right.
But I think that he was a theist. This someone that is just questioning and asking a bunch of questions and seeking. I don't have a problem with him seeking, because what I know is if you seek him, you'll find him. You know what I mean? So seek, keep seeking. And all the truth that you need to find, keep finding it. And, you know, gradually it felt like, oh, okay, because there was a lot of things that I understood about what, you know, his plight was, and he understood about what my plight was on a lot of things, because, you know, maybe I was in a box. Maybe even though I am, you know, kind of out there, you know, everybody thinks I'm the little wild and crazy gospel church girl, whatever. I still was in a box. I had some understanding too, that I needed to expand my understanding of all that God is. And, you know, him coming into my life, me being in his life, we were able to walk together and explore, and we're continuing to explore this journey together with God.
Yeah, and sharing, because I think everybody at these days, I think we do have a little bit more freedom and flexibility to explore and to say, I don't subscribe to only this one thing, or I take a piece from this and a piece from that, and I'm developing my own belief system versus I'm just going to repeat what my mama told me, or I'm just going to repeat what the pastor told me. But I will say that is surprising. I'll say surprising for someone who, I feel like even when you say you don't believe in God, you do believe in a higher power. You believe, you know, like you believe in something. You might not call it God, but something. But for someone who does not share your belief, to literally be with the gospel lady, like how is that for you? Do you ever feel like, well, I guess you said he kind of felt like you wouldn't be accepting, but what has been your experience?
Well, for me, I try not to box myself in. That's one of the things that I understand, that all of these modalities, these metrics, they're used to divide people.
Facts.
So we have to be able to see through that. And you know, once upon a time, they told people that God was on the mountain, right? It was in the book. Then they said God was in the cloud. Then they said God was all around, but they never tell you that God is in the mirror. You know what I mean?
I say is in you.
Yeah. So once you understand that, then you can accept people for what they believe or who they are, because you understand everybody's on their own individual journey. So yeah, people could have labeled me whatever they wanted to, but it's because I didn't believe what you believed, or maybe the understanding is different. But once upon a time, there was no such word as God. Like when you go back to ancient Kemet, that word was synonymous with nature, man, and spirit. It was all synonymous in one word. So we, as a civilization or a culture, however you want to, when we start to progress through the decades and the generations, something changed. And I wonder, what was it?
Oh, we know what it was. Some things definitely changed.
And it's still changing.
Yeah, and like you said, though, it does, in my opinion, come down to religion and titles just kind of separating people. It's just like, I'm going to say I'm this, and when I say I'm this, that means I'm better than what you say you are, and that means that my belief system is going to get me to what I hope to be happy. You know, like, it's just the whole thing that I think does end up being more divisive than bringing people together.
And I like, for me, being in this space, I respect all of it. I respect my upbringing. I respect the church. I respect, you know, religion. I respect all of it, because just as Alfonso said, everybody is on a journey.
Right.
And people can make a choice to stay here and camp out here, or they could say, man, I know there's more to it than this.
I'm going to just keep looking.
And I'm just going to keep on receiving. You know what I'm saying? I'll keep on receiving all I can, because we're talking about God. We'll never get enough.
Right.
I don't care how long we live. We won't ever know everything. So I've always been that person that will push the envelope a bit more. But to others, that means, oh, you're just a free spirit or whatever. And it's like, exactly what I'm trying to be.
Yes, thank you.
But
it's
to
not an
me,
insult, it's a compliment.
it's a definite compliment. But to me, that means that I can receive a lot more than what I've been given,
So what kind of wedding ceremony did y'all have?
Oh, it was so beautiful. Do you want to talk about it? You want me to talk about it?
Look at your
talk about
face.
it?
Yeah.
Are we under NDA until we can talk
We're
about
not
it?
at it. Well,
y'all
what
saw
I
the paperwork?
well, we did because it is on a major network.
Okay.
And
New question.
yes.
Was it a religious ceremony? Because that's what I really wanted to know.
It was spiritual.
Okay. Okay.
We actually we can't talk about this because it probably won't air, but we had a ceremony to blend our family where he made vows to my children and I made vows to his children.
It.
And we asked, I asked his children, could I crown him my king? And they gave me a crown, and and vice versa. He asked.
So we're not gonna see this?
I don't know if they're gonna show that. I don't know. I have
Sounds
no idea.
beautiful. It sounds like something we need to see.
It is definitely something. Well, because we kind of made it up.
Yeah, but that's why we need to see it. But that's
ceremonialized
such a, I've seen the pictures on Instagram where it's like, if the woman had children previously, then the man will ask the family, can I be a part of the family? Not just can I marry you, but I want y'all to know that I'm responsible for this entire this tribe now. It's not just me and your mom. And I just think that is such like a powerful statement. And imagine how the children feel, being included, because a lot of times stereotypically it's like, who's this person coming in to fill in this role or whatever, but that is such an inclusive way of like making everybody feel like this truly is a family and not like I'm coming to shake things up or whatever.
And in our vows, we acknowledged our respect for, like, I had respect for the mother, and he has respect for the father.
Were they there? Okay.
Look,
no, okay. It's like that's where we draw the line.
No,
okay,
God.
I got you. Okay. So I did want to ask though about blended families, and I want to get both of your perspectives on this. But at some point, and I'll just speak for me and my homegirls. We've had this conversation where before we had kids, it was like, well, I don't want to date a man with kids. Now we are much older, that is kind of turning into like is that really gonna happen type of thing. So it is such a common thing for you to meet and fall in love and marry someone who does give you bonus children, right? But it's not always the easiest situation to blend. So from both of you, what would you say is your advice for someone who is stepping into a blended family?
Well, I will say you got to respect whatever relationship they have with their own parents, and you don't want to step in the role, especially not too fast. It's saying, well, I'm going to be your stepmom, or, I took an approach to befriend his children, and just to be an extra voice if you need it, and, to be a confidant if you need me to. I can be a mediator, but just to embrace, especially his daughter, where she was in her age, and, affirm some things for her. And that's just something that I would do for, of course, my own children. But, it's a love thing. I wanted to make a relationship specifically with her and specifically with his son. And it's just been great. It's been great because I'm not, stepping in the role, well, I'm your daddy's lady now, so you're going to have to listen. No, I'm just not that. I'm not doing that. This is their father, and they have their mom, and it's like, my respect, my love to your mom. I'm not going to ever be your mom. Right. Your mom is always going to be your mom. But if you would need like some extra something, I'm here.
Gotcha.
Extra covering, I'm here for you.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me, I just made the decision not to be overbearing. You know what I mean? I already have 2 children, but they're all adults at the end of the day. Yeah. So I can't look at any of them as if they're children, and sometimes some men, some women could come into somebody's life who has children and they automatically feel like they have to assume this authoritarian role. But I'm looking at these young men and women like they're adults, the same way I treat my children. So, you know, even with my children, I don't walk around like my son has a stepfather, and well, he was his mother's husband, so he's her ex now, but my son still has a relationship with him, and it's like, yo, I'm cool with it because you a grown man, he's a grown man. Like, there's nothing I could do to step in between that, and I feel like when you start to understand that, you start to look at people as people, then you start to put some of the things aside. So I'm never going to treat them like they're children. I'm going to treat them like they're adults.
So would you say that it was probably a little easier or smoother transition because they were adults?
Absolutely.
For sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you both previously married?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So another challenge that a lot of, I won't just say women, even though the majority of our audience is women. So I have this conversation with, you know, people who are divorced and who sometimes have a hard time finding that faith to go back out there and, you know, figuring out, because depending on how long you've been married, it's a little crazy in these streets. You know,
oh my God, yes.
Things have changed.
Big time.
So sometimes it's like the fear of going back out there. I haven't dated since I was however young, you know, and so what would be your advice for someone who does find themselves now, you know, maybe a decade or two later, having to go back out there and, you know, it's like being in the unemployment line after you didn't have a job for 30 years. Like, I don't even know what to say in these interviews anymore. I don't even know what's going on out here. So what would your advice be, since y'all are newlyweds? Y'all found each other.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so it's possible. In Atlanta, I always like to say that.
That's
Did y'all
right.
meet in Atlanta?
Yes, we did.
In Atlanta, where they say there are no single straight black men. It's a lie.
They didn't go in that science lab.
Listen, they ain't go to the, you went to the science lab?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
No,
I was like, wait a minute, is that where they need to go? To the science lab?
No, he showed up on my doorstep, but that's another story.
Come on,
for a
for
different
real?
day.
Yeah.
No, that's a story for today, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there next. We're going to get there next. Yes, yes. But for, I don't even feel like divorced, for women who have been previously married, what was your advice?
I had been married for 17 years before.
Okay.
And I think that you have to acknowledge the fact that it didn't work. So you go through this moment or a season where you find yourself again. You know, one of the things that I challenged myself with is to belong to myself. And I belonged to myself for a long time, because all of those years I was his wife, their mom, and then the worship leader at the church. And I had all of these duties, but I never served myself and belonged to myself and made choices for myself that that helps me to grow. You know, I moved out of the big house in Gwinnett and went in Brookhaven and got a nice little small 2-bedroom for me and my son. And I had to say, hey, I am single. I do what single people do now. You know, I don't have to worry about going to the store and buying all of this food. It's only a little boy here. You know, I savored my moment of being single, and I healed. I had radical self-care. I would go, and the things that I would say no to and feel guilty about, I stopped saying no to, and I stopped feeling guilty about. If I want to go and, you know, get a massage and go out of town and do all of this, I would go and travel. His daddy's here. Go to your daddy's, little boy. And mama's out of here. You know, I would go and just explore and find out the things that I like, find out the things that I don't like, get involved in some things that I never was able to. And I just became me. And healed me. I challenged myself, you know, to have some things, you know, for myself. Go buy the car that you want. Go do whatever you want to do.
The freedom.
You know, I just was free. So I would date, and I was like, oh, this is weird. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, ugh, God, it's hard out here. And it was hard out here. But the cool thing is, well, I'm going to let him speak to that too. Okay. Let him have his moment, and then I'll come back.
I mean, it's not really a moment. It's just, I think we have to all understand the fact that we evolve.
Yeah.
So I'm not the same person who I was once upon a time.
Yeah.
So I had to get comfortable with who I was becoming and allow myself to become who I was becoming. And that comes with making certain decisions. I mean, you got to watch who you surround yourself around, some of the things you do, some of the things that you make priorities. So once I started making those decisions, it started to change the fabric of who I was. And, you know, once you start making those type of changes, then you start looking at yourself When you really, really look in the mirror and you start to dissect yourself, you have to also ask yourself, who do you want to be? And if you want to be something other than you are, then you got to make some changes.
Yeah.
So that's what I did along the way. Made the changes.
So I think the being intentional.
That's it.
Is like a common thread of what you both said. Being intentional.
Yeah.
Healing.
Yeah.
Because you didn't say it, but that looking in the mirror, knowing what you want to change, being intentional about it, like all of that, I think is the healing process that a lot of people don't want to go through. They want to just find somebody or just get back in a relationship and just make it work. And it's like, but you're literally showing up as the same person,
right?
That it
There's
didn't
a
work
hole
out
in
with
your
before.
soul.
Yeah, and you have to heal that, and it's not fun. So a lot of people shy away from it. But y'all heard it here. Ladies, you heard it here first. All right, now how he showed up at your doorstep, please.
Honey,
Who's gonna tell the story?
It's a good thing, right?
We let her
Tell
She's a storyteller.
me.
He has a version and I have a version.
Whose is the closest to the
Mine's
truth?
is the most.
Yours is the most accurate?
No, mine's is the most concise.
Are you kidding?
I had a friend who invited me over to her house. Previously, a few months prior to that moment, the same friend had invited me to. Actually, no, it wasn't the same friend. The same friend actually ended up being at the house, but somebody else invited me to a concert. And I went to the concert, and I wasn't into going to churches or nothing like that. She's like, "Fine, just come out, have a good time." So I went out, and it happened to be she was one of the performers with Yolanda Adams and
Kim Burrell.
So I seen them, and I remember her stepping on stage, and she had on some jeans. She didn't look like everybody else in the arena, or the establishment. So she kind of stood out to me. I was like, okay, she's pretty dope. So later on, when my friend invited me to her house, I didn't know whose house she was inviting me to because I didn't remember her name. But immediately when she answered the door, I was like, okay, I do remember
It's
her.
her.
Yeah, right.
Isn't that something?
It is.
He showed up on my doorstep. And this is what's a trip. This is a trip. Because I got divorced in 2011. I met him in 2012.
At the doorstep?
At the doorstep. So I opened the door and I'm like, whoa.
Hello. Wait, but when did y'all start dating? In 2012?
2017. We were
okay, so
friends.
bring me back around. Bring me back. Oh, y'all were friends. Okay.
We became friends. I think what got me is that he came in. He had this aura that he's just so chill. He's such a chill guy.
I think that's an Aquarius thing.
Yeah,
my husband's the same way. Yeah, it's
chill?
just they just cool.
Yeah,
they cool like
just
that.
So laid back.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and fine. Dang. Anyway, but I personally was not mentally in the space to embrace like, right. But we became Spades partners. And we beat everybody on the table that night. And I was like, oh, he got to be my partner.
Yeah.
But we became friends. People would invite us to come and host events together back then in 2012. And we were just friends, and didn't really cross any lines up until, I don't know. It's just something started happening in 2017. Like, I just remembered how he looked at me one time because my kids already knew him, and they were already accustomed to him being friends. Because when I moved from the big house to the small place, he came and moved me. He and my daughter and everybody, we were doing it all together because he was a friend, But, there was one day when my daughter had my grandson, and she'd asked him on Facebook, can you, because he had this King Me thing. He was like, can you make that for my baby or whatever? And he called me and was like, hey, I got the onesie for your daughter. So if you want to come by my job and pick it up. And I don't even know where he works. So turns out he's 5 minutes from my job. So I go, and when he handed it to me, it was something about the way he looked at me. I was like, let me find out. Hey, ding, ding. That was a check. But then Mother's Day came that year, and he sent me a text and says, happy Mother's Day, Queen. Love you, Leanie. And he would call me Leanie. And I'm like, and it was Love. I'm like,
it wasn't Luv.
You know, that's a difference. And I was like, what is going on with Fonz? So then the end of that month was the jazz festival downtown. And I thought I saw him because I was like pushing the stroller with my grandson. We were looking at food trucks, getting food. I thought I saw him there. And I texted him, I'm like, what you doing out here at the jazz festival? And he was like, I'm not there, but I mean, I can be. What you up to? I'm like,
Like, okay, catch this shot,
And
then.
you say,
Catch
don't
this
play
shot.
with it. Don't play with it, boy. But we connected that weekend, hung out, and discovered that we had real chemistry. And it just kind of started from there. I'll never forget, he went home and I was at home by myself. And I'm like, I wish he would come back.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he wants to come back over here. And kind of grew from there.
I love it. He is really cool because he ain't even bat an eye when you
Nah, he know this is the story.
He like, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Was that accurate?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
He's like, yeah,
she hit
did,
me
all right.
up that day. Throughout the years, we would talk every now and then, and she'll call me if she was having an event. I would check up on her, but I never pushed up really on anything,
We used to play
above that.
We used to play games
Yeah,
in the middle
Russell.
of the night.
Yeah,
Like against each other on your phone?
Yeah.
Russell. Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the night, be like 4 o'clock. He wanna, man, here he go. We
Yeah.
just be playing.
I think some of the problem with some of my brothers in our society is that a lot of them are hunters.
Yeah.
And it's like every woman that they come in contact with, to them is a meal. And I think we have to start changing that narrative because women are way more than that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and when you start to embrace who you are, then you start to respect who everybody else is. And that's what it was. I just try to respect her for who she was. I know she had a whole bunch of people tugging at her from a whole bunch of different directions. And, Darlene this, Darlene that, could you do this, could you do that? But I always try to be somebody who, whenever she reached out to me, I just try to be a solid me. That's it. I'm not trying to be anything else besides that.
I think the friendship,
Yeah.
I mean, again, anytime I have a couple, I always have to ask, and that is what it comes back to.
That's it.
It's like we were just cool. Like
Right.
we like each other.
Yeah.
That's like a thing.
Yeah.
It's such a different thing from like, oh, he's so fine. I just want to
Right.
take his last name and all of the fairy tale type of thing.
Yeah.
But when it's like, we just cool.
We are cool.
We could just hang out. We could just talk. We could just play games with each other, and it's not no strings attached. Like we genuinely like each other. I think
Yeah.
that is the most solid of foundations that you could possibly get.
That's it. I mean, when he came to my house and we started playing all these songs from the 90s, and then all the whole, and then we start doing the little kick, and I was like, oh, this is my dog right
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we can really, get together and have a great time. We're not
Yes.
just Spades partners
Yeah.
or Russell partners. No, he my dog. Okay, let's go, folks.
I love it. Too cool for school. Okay. Let's see if you're cool while we play this game of pull your card. So y'all are at an
Hey.
advantage because it's 2 of you.
Okay.
So we're gonna do trivia.
Okay.
And I think y'all are gonna do great at this, even though I always think everybody's gonna do great and they don't be doing so great.
Uh-oh.
But we're going to see how you do.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask you a question and you just do the best you can. All right. Whoever wants to answer, feel free. Question number 1. Name 3 famous actresses that Will Smith dated on Fresh Prince.
On Fresh Prince?
Mhm.
Oh, my God.
Come on.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like,
You didn't watch Fresh Prince?
I wasn't really in the house growing up. I was on the streets a lot.
Not
There's
your
a lot
jam.
of things that I
Not
did
your
not.
jam.
Yeah, I wasn't a TV person all that much.
Nia Long. Okay, you got 1. Come on. Come on. You can do this.
I want to
Guess.
say Jada Pinkett, but it wasn't.
Yes, that's
He did
one.
date her
Yes,
on.
he
Okay.
did.
Whitney
All right.
Houston?
I'm like,
Not at
date
all.
Whitney?
Oh, okay.
hey. Wow.
I'm just a guess.
Not at all. You'll get another one. It's okay. This one not yours. This one not
Okay,
yours. You'll
I
get
got
another
one
You
more?
got 2. Yep, you got 2.
Okay.
You can do this. You can do it.
Janet Jackson.
You didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
No. We'll come back. I'll tell you the answers.
Okay.
Off camera.
Okay.
Okay. This probably not your jam either. Martin,
Yeah.
what was his boss's name down at the radio station?
Oh my God. At the radio station.
Come on, radio lady.
I don't remember.
Like Stan or something like that.
Stanley. Yes.
Oh.
Wasn't in the house. You was watching.
Yeah.
Well, that's like late
Okay.
night when you come in the house.
Late
and
night. Yeah. He like I was in the house by then.
Good job, babe.
Movie. This is a movie question. It's an easy one.
I hope so.
Y'all got to get this one, okay? What city did Craig move to get away from Debo?
What city?
What
Talking about
city?
you ain't got to lie, Craig. He moved away.
Woo! Woo! All right. right.
Did Craig move to get away from Depot?
Yes.
Friday.
Friday too.
Crenshaw?
Next Friday.
No, I mean Long Beach.
Long Beach. I was about to say.
What?
It was in California. It was not Long Beach or Watts.
Beverly Hills.
Okay.
Pass. It's okay. We'll pass. Y'all are gonna get this one.
We're messing
This
up.
one is so easy.
I was about to say Oakland.
This one is so easy. Okay. How long did Keith Sweat want to make it last?
Forever.
Thank you. Okay, that was an easy one. All right. We'll just do this last one. Okay. Y'all are gonna get this one too. What was Usher doing on Friday at 7:00?
This past Friday? He was in his drop top, cruising the streets.
Okay! They did it.
That was a great question, though.
I don't got it. She said this Friday.
This past Friday?
You got it, though. You got it. Kyle is cracking up over here. You got it. Okay. What'd you get? Like 2 out of 5?
Almost.
2 out of 5. 3 out of 5.
Did you count
You got 3
3?
out of 5. No, you got 3. You got Stan. You got
Ask us something else.
Forever. And you got Cruising Out. Okay, you got it. All right. So for the people out there who want to support your artistry, please look right here in this camera and let them know how they can find you online, how they can support your artistry, and anything you need them to know.
Hi. I would love for you to support my artistry. Go to www.iamdarlene.com. You can follow me on my Instagram page at Darlene McCoy, and you'll see my name, Darlene Jackson, there. I also have a book that I released called And Then She Turned 50. You got to check that out. And you can support my music. I am on all digital platforms. Just pull up Darlene McCoy. I have several projects out there. Go check it out.
Check her out.
Yeah, I'm Alfonso Akhenaten Jackson. You can find me on Instagram at Akhenaten, that's AQENATEN. Same thing on Twitter. On Facebook is Alfonso Akhenaten Jackson. I got a couple of different things coming up. I'm starting to do my own productions. So I like to be in front of the camera, but I also like to be in back of the camera, because if you really look at how things have changed, the narrative has changed for us throughout the generations. It's because people control the imagery and the narrative. So it's time for us to snatch that back and remix it and give it to y'all how it's really supposed to be given to y'all.
And you can see him on Last Seen Alive, which was #1 on Netflix 3 weeks ago.
Come on.
With Gerard Butler. And he has movies on Amazon Prime. What's the name? He has The God of Dreams on Amazon Prime. And I Wish I Never Met You.
King of Kings, I Wish I Never Met You.
Yeah.
It's a couple of
He
different
said Google me, okay?
Yeah, Google him.
And
Go
sis
look
said,
at his
"Put some
IMDb.
respect on my husband's name, okay? #1 on
I'm
Netflix.
talking about
I love
Cobra
it.
Kai. Yeah, he's on
Keep
Cobra Kai.
naming them. You got another one?
Yeah. Black Lightning. He's
Look
been
at
on Have and Have Nots. Listen, I've been watching you.
He said,
I've
follow
been
me.
watching you.
Google him. Check them out. Support their artistry. Support their Black love. Y'all, send this episode to a friend, okay? Because Black love exists, and we have to keep these images in rotation. Another bomb episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment below. If y'all know the answers that they couldn't get, go ahead and drop them in the comments below, or grab your deck at pullyourcard.com. See you on the next episode. Peace. Girl, hey, I hope you enjoyed that video. This channel is all about encouraging you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you'll be notified when the next video drops. And comment below and let me know what you want to see on the next video. Peace out.